Hey, guys, it is Allison. I am the host of your show, Allison Answers Mission Awake. I cannot wait to sit down with you today and go over how we are going to crush the mediocrity in your life that has been plaguing our society since the beginning of time. I cannot wait to have a real deal conversation that includes intelligence, fun, excitement, and real actionable steps to make a real difference in the life that you're living now and making it into something you can be damn proud of and excited to live. Sit down, put on your damn seatbelt, and get ready for the ride of your life. Hey, guys, how are you today? It is Allison from Allison Answers, and I have a lovely guest, Mary Yuter, here. And what she is like an unlikely guest because of her field. Her field is in medicine, but what's interesting about her is that she has, just like I have in the psychology realm and whatever other realm people let me in, she has kind of put her footprint, her thumbprint on the world of medicine, as far as I'm concerned, because what she has done is she's taken the Western world perspective in medicine, and she has created something that allows us as just people who need physical health. She's allowing us to not be victims of this system of mediocrity. You know, I'm always talking about these antiquated systems that just keep getting handed down to every single generation, one generation after another, and we just follow it. Who just follows what like the doctor says and just never questions it? And we are in a world of information. There is so much available to us. And Mary is a person who has brought in holistic health into people's lives in this Western world. So, but I want to say a couple of things before I have Mary dive in, because she's very special. And I have been reading her book, and I just want to show it to you. So this is the book. Can you see it? It's backwards, but it's Heart to Soul Cardiac Wellness, an inspiring plan to holistically prevent and recover from heart disease. So when I went to read it, because Mary's going to be on the show, I was like, oh, I don't have any heart issues. So it wasn't as of much interest to me. I opened this book, and let me tell you, people, you read this book, it's going to change you. I already have been changed by it is a really powerful book. And I'm not just saying that. She talks about breathing, about meditation, and she has all of these like prompts and weekly journal entries, or daily actually, about gratitude and having the right mindset. Like so it would prepare anyone to have a healthy body, but a healthy mind, healthy spirit. It's just incredible. So I am raving about the book. I'm going to give it to people. And she also has a program that goes with it. We're going to talk about the program and everything. And I just want to tell people to do this. So without any further ado, another thing, of course, I'm going to say, you guys know I don't know how to stop a sentence. Okay. So I just really think Mary's a cool chick. And I think that what's going to happen is you're going to learn things about your health in a different way. And that's what's about to happen for you. So Mary's going to show you how you can today begin a process. And that's what I love about your book too, Mary, is that it's a process of creating an overall state of wellness. And it's not like, oh, just take this, and this pill, and I'll see you when you're dead. Basically, I'll see you at your gravesite, but I won't show up. But anyhow, that's obnoxious. But let's go. And I want to ask Mary, welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here. And I would love to know, what made you decide to come into this field, because I know it's your fourth career, and what has made you decide to come into this field, and what is it exactly that you do so people will understand, because I know you can help them.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, Allison, and thank you for having me today. I am so in agreement with you. I was a cardiac ICU bedside nurse at the busiest cardiac unit for the city of New York. I worked at Bellevue Hospital in New York City, and we got the sickest of the sick in there. A lot of people had never been to the doctor before. So by the time they got to us, they were super critical. And one of the things I noticed was that people kept coming back. They didn't get better. And I'm not bashing the Western medical system, because we do need some of the medications. We do need it emergently. We need to go to the emergency room. We need x-rays, tests, things like that. It can be used to our advantage as a partner in care, but where it's gone wrong is we have a treat 'em and street 'em approach. So doctors have been raised in school a certain way, where you have a diagnosis and you have a medication. You have a diagnosis of heart attack, these are your meds. And what and they don't have the time to help you in follow through care. So what happens between each bridge on the freeway of your life, each bridge being a doctor appointment, what happens in the middle of the street there until you get to the next doctor appointment? So one of the things I've done is create a plan for people and tactical strategy, so that they have follow through care. They know what to do. So for example, you go to the doctor, you have a heart attack, that's your diagnosis. They, by protocol, have to give you certain medications. And you would think a doctor would want to get you off medications. You're on these medications. And let's take a look at statins. So the high normal used to be 220. That normal was dropped to 200. Now, what is the most prescribed medication in our country? Statins. What body organ needs cholesterol the most, because statins take down cholesterol? Our brain. What disease has been on an increase? Alzheimer's.
Wow. Wow.
So this is an example of how we're in a Western medical treatment loop. And the way that you can get yourself out of it is, wow, doc, I don't want statins. What about other things that I can take? What about other things that I can eat? And they're not trained in any of this stuff. So you can have cinnamon, it could lower your blood pressure and your blood glucose. And what happens to people is they get caught in this cardiac Bermuda Triangle, I call it. And each island is an island of highs. So you have high cholesterol, high blood sugar, which is diabetes, and high hypertension, high blood pressure. And when you take all those together and you look at I have a little artery friend here. If you look at your artery, this is how
Yes.
this is how it should be. Mr. Artery likes to be like that.
Yeah.
And you can reverse cardiac disease. What happens is you end up being jacked up to look like that.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing like a visual aid. And then
No, it's
if
true.
if you have inflammation, you smoke, that little window is even more is tighter. Then if you have diabetes, that's like your blood that's like driving on that highway. Each car is a blood cell. And now you've thrown pancake syrup all over the highway because you've got diabetes. So how are those blood cells supposed to get through that mess? Then from the inflammation, some of that plaque that's built up in there pops, and your body knows what to do. It sends in its first responders, which are platelets, to build a clot. And the real problem is that clot breaks free and you have a heart attack or stroke. And now we have a lot of people getting sick also from a medication maybe they took recently in the past year, since this widespread worldwide illness has spread. And I don't want to say things because of possibly being flagged. I don't know if things are censored, but now people are getting sick with cardiac problems and with clots. So my mission also is to help people loosen up their blood cells, get rid of the pancake syrup, have clean highways, feel better, have the lab results to prove it, and have a vibrant life, because so many people are existing and not living.
Yeah, this is really so cool and informative. So when you say statins, is that the name of statins, or the things that you were saying that the brain needs cholesterol, right? Is that what you were
Right.
saying?
A statin like a atorvastatin, for example, is a drug name, or Lipitor.
Yeah. Oh,
Those take
Lipitor is a
down your,
statin.
yes,
Okay. Got it.
they take down your cholesterol level.
Got it.
And the problem is cholesterol really has been bastardized, because cholesterol in your body, if you think of like the Sahara Desert and you think of the ground and you think of the cracks in the dirt and what that looks like, inflammation makes your arteries look like that. And what cholesterol does is it's like we do not have in New York City pothole filling crew. Cholesterol comes in and fills the potholes up
Yes.
and says, dude, you have these cracks, let me fix them. So when you're interrupting that cholesterol process, what the real root cause here that the drugs are covering up is inflammation and insulin resistance. Those are the two big problems. But we're given a drug, and our body is not in a deficiency for a statin, is it? Your body's not sick because it has a deficiency of beta blockers, statins, insulin. Your body is sick because of a root cause. And those root causes are helping your body heal toward something called homeostasis, which is your body saying, oh, I'm cool, I'm in equilibrium, everything's chill, I feel good. Like when you're born, you're in homeostasis. Everything's working and you haven't been exposed to all the toxins. But every day our bodies have deodorant, air pollution, what's in our water and food supply, the junk you might be putting in your body, creams and shampoos and stuff. Every day our body is fighting hundreds of toxic pollutants and trying to stay in homeostasis. And eventually the disease processes start when it can't keep up.
You know, I find it fascinating because I'm always talking about homeostasis and baseline when it comes to emotional health and, spiritual and mindset. And it's really all the same thing, right? So how would you tell someone who, I mean, inflammation is such an important subject. And I feel like it also is impacted by stress, right? And all the emotional and mindset things that cause it. So could you explain like the things that are fundamentally causing so much inflammation in our society? I mean, we're all inflamed, for God's sakes. Our diet is ridiculous. Not mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say, I got some stuff, but yeah. So how would you describe it?
Well, inflammation is silent. All these things are silent. Yeah. Hypertension, diabetes, they're all silent. You don't know. So, but you can manage it. And inflammation also gives you clues like soreness, stiffness. Inflammation is great because, like, if we cut ourselves, our body says, oh no, let's send all these helpful cells, and the area gets red and a clot or a scab forms on the outside. But, and that's like the toaster oven on fire. But chronic inflammation is like your whole house is on fire, and you've got to put that out. And things that lead to inflammation are fried things, fried foods, seed oils, sugar. Sugar is not only inflammatory, but it leads to cancer. And I know I had my own brush with cancer, and I stopped eating sugar resultantly, and I feel better. Stress and working on, everybody has stress. Just walking out the door is stressful. Our bodies now are assaulted on an electronic level, and it's really important to protect your body from the electronics that it's being assaulted with, from satellites to your cell phone to your computer to cell phone towers, to any watches and things you may be wearing, Bluetooth. Everything gives our body a hit, and what that does is it destroys our cells' ability to work optimally. It hurts our mitochondria, which is our powerhouse in the cell. So cellular support and doing things that you can support your body from that kind of attack also is very important, and that also leads to inflammation. So there are I'm gonna say the number one thing though that we can give up, but that people are like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And that's dairy.
Dairy causes inflammation?
Yes. And the reason why is, if you think about when you had your kids, you nurse them for a certain amount of time, if you nurse, and then they're weaned.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're taking another species milk for its baby. So let's take a cow. The milk is made to nurture and grow a baby bovine. It's got all the hormones and nutrients and antibodies in there to grow a baby cow very quickly and healthfully for that species. When we have it, it's a toxin. There's a gentleman who wrote a book called The China Study, T. Colin Campbell. He was a research scientist at Cornell. And the China study linked prostate cancer and breast cancer to dairy. And dairy also has, the reason why people can't get rid of it, or it's really hard to give up, is it hits your opioid receptors in the brain. There's something called casomorphin in it. So it's like its own form of crack. I get it. I love cheese, and there are vegan options, but some vegan stuff can be junky too. And I used to be like hardcore vegan, and I think you need to enjoy life, like you can't live in complete denial of things that make you happy. However, you can be aware that this is not good for you, that this comes from taking a baby cow away from its mother and she's put on the machines.
Oh
So
God.
over and over.
I'm never gonna eat a piece of cheese again. I hate
yeah,
that.
over and over. I'll hold you to
Just
it.
for the baby, just for the babies.
Yeah, and the
Let's
mother's
save
the
the
mother's
innocence.
yeah, and the mother's in a state of grieving.
Oh my God, I can't. Don't even tell me anymore. I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, and then it
hate
happens
that.
over and over to
Hate
these
that.
dairy cows. So I used to think dairy farms are, oh, look at the pretty cows.
Yeah.
And now I see them as a grief house, as a place of tremendous loss. And that's the way we get our cheese. And that's why these activists are so vocal. It's like people don't understand or just don't care, and they'd rather have their cheese. And the ultimate irony is the karma that comes back is you get cancer, diabetes, inflammation, heart disease, and a whole host of other things because you're eating that.
Wow. Wow, that is heavy shenanigans right there. You just changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink milk ever, because I'm thinking of it like that, but I wasn't thinking of cheese. I don't know why. I mean, it's obvious, but that's heavy. What would you say to someone? We have so many strong habits, in our lifestyle. I know that you have a program, like even in your book, you're showing systematically, incrementally how to create this exponential change. So I'm just wondering, what would you say to the person who's like, oh my God, I can't do this? Or what are the steps? Like, what would you say, or what would you say to someone who does not know what to do? They don't even have any illness yet. Because I feel like we wait until like there's something that forces us to do it instead of being proactive and creating the life that we want. And it's the same theme that I talk about all the time. Do you want to create your life or react? And we want to be creators, not reactors.
And this is Western medicine, is you don't go see the doctor till you're sick, and then the doctor is the be all end all. And I think that the number one thing I could tell people is, first, you have to get your mindset right. If you're not, you could do all the things, but if your mindset isn't clicked in to why you're doing this and having the rationale and understanding the rationale behind why you're doing it, then you're not going to be successful. You have to have that mindset of, I want to get better, and this is what I want to do. Because you can read books, you can read my book, but if you're not going to take action, and also the reason why I developed a program off the book is I have live coaching, and a doctor's office can't give you that. So yes. I have a live coaching and a group setting so that you are with other people, like-minded people. And the other thing I can say is to start with little things, because when you build, it's like putting money in your bank account, and the money ultimately compounds and you get more money because your money makes money. At least it used to. I don't know about now. But when you start with little habits and little tweaks, so sometimes there's a lot in my program. I do give a lot. I give habits each week. And when you start to habit stack, which I'm adopting from Ed Milet, who is an amazing guy I follow. When you habit stack, those little habits start to turn into compounding health health benefits that you'll see in your labs, in how you feel, in how you look. You'll have people telling you, oh my gosh, you look good, because your mindset has changed. You're adopting these things, you're open. And there's a lot of things I bring into the program that the average bear has never known about, like Ayurveda, for example, oil pulling, which is something that in Indian medicine, people oil pull. And what that is taking a teaspoon of coconut oil and swishing it in your mouth. And that's for like 5-10 minutes while you're making coffee, while you're busy in the morning. It'll stop you from talking. Your kids will love it. You'll have to be quiet for 5 minutes. And then the purpose is it's antifungal, antimicrobial. It helps to clear your mouth of ani, which is AGNI, which is disease and dirt from overnight. And then you spit it into a tissue, into the garbage, because you'll clog your sinks if you spit it out in the sink or the toilet. So that's my little public service announcement for our sewer system.
Because I have coconut oil, I would put it in everything. Like I would cook with it and do everything, and also put it in drinks or coffee. But what I'm wondering is, like, because it's usually I don't know what you call it, coagulated, when it's like a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
So are you talking about an actual, like, do you warm it up when or do you just put it in your mouth like that and it warms up right away?
Right. Good question, Allison. Right now I have mine in the fridge because it does get so liquidy, and then you open it and then you have it everywhere. So I chip away and then chew it. Okay. But the purpose is also to help your oral health, because oral health is directly linked to cardiac health.
Yes.
And some of the bacteria that are in your mouth can affect the valves of the heart and can affect your inflammation. So healing your mouth and your oral care helps to improve your heart health. Same with the gut. You heal your gut inflammation, you heal your heart. So our body is not just one organ. Yeah. It's multiple organ systems working together in synergy. And what I've done here is honored the Western medical treatment plan, and at the same time provided holistic components to help you really, all those things work in synergy together to optimize you. Once you start getting optimized, you're like, I'm not going to need, I can pull back. I've had people with their doctor pull back from their beta blockers, pull back from all the medications they're on. You can reverse heart disease, and it's 80% preventable at baseline. Matter of fact, my personal credo is there's no reason heart disease should be the #1 cause of death in our country over all cancer combined. You take heart, lung, breast, colon, all the cancers, combine them, and heart disease kills more people, 1 in every 4 or 1 person in every 36 seconds. That should be a national emergency, and it's not. And why not? Because healthy people don't make anyone money, and sick people do. So my personal credo is there's no reason heart disease should be #1 when overall cancer combined, when it is preventable and reversible. And despite,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, despite Western medicine, with all of our tests, doctor visits, procedures, hospitalizations, medications, heart disease is still #1. That's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. I agree with you. There's a lot of things that are unacceptable, aren't there, Mary? And yes. You know what? If you think about it, indeed, it's unacceptable. It's the exact same thing. It's unacceptable that our society does not know that they can create their life. Just like you're saying, our society, human beings do not know that they can reverse heart disease, that they can create a healthy heart, that they have power over these things. And it's like we're a bunch of like pigs going off the side of the cliff, just following one another, just to like die. So it's like, if not now, when?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like we're not taught these things. No. This was, I have to, I have to give my dad a nod. I ended up not being close to him, and family trauma and a lot of stuff like that. However, he was a closet hippie. He was an engineer, but he was a closet hippie. He was growing sprouts in the garage in his workshop. And I was given wheat germ and smoothies way before anybody knew what smoothies were. And to the point of,
Me too.
one day he gave my brother and I something, and I don't know what it was. And to this day, I don't think he knows what it was. But I was taking a test and I started to look like the Incredible Hulk. I was breaking out in a full body rash. And the teacher took me to the nurse's office, and there was my brother. So, I don't know what my dad put in that day, but you can do little tweaks like that, like a smoothie, and wow, be good to go. And your body knows, your body feels better. You feel better. And I'm on that personal quest myself. So a lot of things because both my parents died of heart attacks. So I, and this was before I became a nurse. And had I known what I know now, they'd still both be alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, like if you really think about what's happening here in this conversation, what I want to just shout out, I want everybody to hear the importance is that this is not like, oh, suddenly I have to make all these vast, huge changes. Anything that I've ever done to create any success in my life, it all has to, you got to get small. So it's like being in the moment that you're in and making, it's not like, oh, good choices. It's about creating things incrementally that will literally change your life and have an exponential result. And what I see, what Mary is offering, when I was looking through this book, I'm like, everything's there. Like this is, even if you're not interested in your heart, you're going to learn about your heart by proxy from just learning all the other things, because there's so many other things. It's all personal development within these pages. But how many people are mega successful and they're totally physically unhealthy, overweight, there's so many things. And we get one body, right? And how much of our mood, and you and I both know the answer to this, I know my mood is directly related to everything I ate the night before. My mood is impacted by my health of my body every single day. And I know I am positive that sugar you said it causes depression, it causes cancer. It is a feeding ground for not good things. And there's so many alternatives and ways to eat. I've had clients who stopped sugar. When people come in and they're depressed, they're angry, they're raging in the home, I always ask them, how much sugar do you take in? And they'll be like, oh, and no one ever even makes the connection between sugar and rage, sugar and anxiety, sugar and crippling depression. I had a client who was so depressed, she's on medication. She came off of sugar, not depressed anymore. No depression. Right? So
That's
I'm
amazing.
on my rant. Yes.
That's amazing. And it's such a small tweak to make. And that's a hard one too, because it's addicting. People actually get into their flow of being in the armchair, watching that TV show with their pint of ice cream. So it becomes a ritual and they have to break the ritual.
That's habit stacking.
Yes, habit stacking.
Yes,
exactly.
That's what that is.
And, if you think of your body as like a plant, would you walk by your plant and give it Cheetos and pour Coca-Cola into the soil and throw a bunch of sugar on and a croissant? And would you give that to your plant? Throw a burger and fries in there? Like, your body is like that living animal. You have your own little photosynthesis making your vitamin D through your skin. Like, you are like a plant, and nurture it accordingly.
Yes.
We've got to
Well,
take
a lot
care
of
of our
people
one.
do not give a shit about their plants, Mary. Let's be real. They don't. Not like you and I. My plants, I'm a tree hugger. Like, I know that they're here for me. I love them.
Yes.
And I can feel their energy. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's another thing, is everything has energy. And the more that you start to learn that, you can like, for example, if you go into a concert, everybody's like lit, or a football game, the World Series, whatever it is. Everybody is lit, and that's the energy. Or you go into a hospital,
Yes.
energy.
Mm-hmm.
And how can people get healthy under fluorescent lights and no sunlight, no fresh air? Windows don't open in hospitals. It's
Mm-hmm.
purposeful. Wi-Fi everywhere. People can't get out. It's like there's no massage, there's no mind healing, there's no music. It's just not a setup for regaining your health at all. And there
No.
are alternative healthcare systems being developed now to say, you know what, enough. Similar to what's happening with government, is like changes from everything, always from a grassroots level, and that's how
So
really the best things are grown.
exactly. And you know what? It's what you're describing. I think that we're hearing people rise up, like even like Andy Frisella, like rising up, like enough. We are the government. We're the
Yes.
ones who make a difference. The entrepreneurs, the people, the small business owners, we are the people that are going to make a difference. And what Mary's talking about, you're describing a hospital setting. I always feel sick in a hospital, and I don't go to hospitals. When my kids are sick, I'm like, no hospital, no. And the other thing, and also, I remember my entire life feeling sick in schools. Always felt bad in school. I would tell my kids, let's just drive by the bus stop. Because my kids, a lot of their life, they were homeschooled, but they had a lot of social life. And don't ask the question and the things, like, how did they get socialized? Exactly. They got social. They didn't get socialized like that. But anyhow, so let's take you drive by a school bus and a bunch of adolescents or middle schoolers. Does anybody look happy? They look miserable. And it's like, we just brush that off as that's teenagers, or that's, oh, they're overworked, or they just worked all day. We blow off the truth of what is really happening. We have enough energy, Bob Proctor talks about it, in our pinky to light up like the Eastern Seaboard, I think, whatever he says. But you know what? We have so much energy in our body that is ignored. If you think about, I love this story, and I'm going to stop talking because I want you to talk, but I love this story. It changed me. Somebody in a book, I think it was The Miracle Morning, he's talking about a guy who's maybe it was him, I don't know, talking about a guy who's totally depressed because his girlfriend broke up with him. He's in bed, he has no energy, can't do anything, can't even go to the bathroom. Then the girl calls, honey, I'm sorry, I changed my mind. Could you come back? Can you come out and meet me? I realize I love you. How fast does that guy get his energy? He's not tired anymore. He has the storehouse inside of him. So it's like, it's the same concept. Like, we have to create energy in us to sustain the life that we're living. I am going to stop and let you keep going, Mary, because
Okay.
I have questions for you. Would you tell? So like, we have people who already have, my son has diabetes 1, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
He's 24. So what would you tell? So we're going to have people on here who know somebody who's already had congestive heart failure. I mean, I know people who have heart issues. I'm curious to know what you would be telling them to do right now. Like my kids, actually, a couple of them believe that they have genetic heart things, and we know about genetics, that each gene has the possibility of 35,000 expressions, and it doesn't have to be the same story just because it's in your history. Am I being accurate with what you understand?
Yes. Yeah, you're correct on that. One of the first things I learned in nursing school was genetics loads the gun, but things we can do can change that gene expression. So genetics loads the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. So I have friends that are identical twins, and one twin got cancer, and they're identical, right? Same DNA. One twin got cancer, and potentially her lifestyle impacted that happening, from what happened to her trauma wise to things that were stressors in her life to making the perfect life and lifestyle for a man she was married to, who was very, I don't know. When I met him, I didn't really care for him, put it that way. And the other twin,
he was married to a bastard. Come on, let's get real.
Yeah, he the night I met them, we were at a club in Newport Beach, and he was like sandpaper on my skin. I was like, it was the energy read I got without knowing at the time. And the other twin, holistic, healthy lifestyle, always organic, didn't get it. So genetics loads the gun, environment pulls the trigger. So what we can do can improve our genes. However, there are some genes that you are pretty much predestined, whether it's the high lipid, high cholesterol, or there is a heart attack gene. There are certain things, but what can you do? You can bulletproof yourself against all that stuff by positive habit stacking, by doing everything you can.
What is the heart attack gene?
I don't have the number, but it's like a P921.
Oh yeah, I think I've
something.
heard that.
I can send it to you, but
How
there
do you
is
know?
a heart attack. How do I know?
How do you find out?
About the gene, you have to go through genetic testing. You ask your doctor for a blood test. Yeah.
It's interesting.
In my program, I will highlight all that. Yeah. But again, it's based on that expression and on what you're doing. One person might have that and have in the family and have a completely different lifestyle than the next one. And I think the best insurance policy is doing everything you can to take care of your body. And also that mindset, self-care goes along with that. The law of attraction. So manifesting, what do I want? And then also everything has that vibration we talked about, energy. So what do you want? What does that feel like? What does that vibrational frequency feel like? And clicking in up there. And listen, I'm no master. I'm working on that right now. And incorporating everything, including things like your book, everything. I mean, I think that nobody can put an expiration date on you. I think that doctors don't know everything. They've gone through a tremendous amount of school, but they only know what they've subjectively experienced as well. So Dr. A may have experienced all these things, and Dr. B over here might completely miss something that Dr. A would have caught. So you really are your own best doctor. You know when your body's off, and a doctor can be our partner in care for sure and help us to oversee the clinical and the scientific part. But again, we can enhance all that. And stepping further back into our conversation and addressing energy, our hearts at up to about 3 feet or so put out, it's like a coherent energy where when you're walking by people, you can actually feel their energy. So if you take 3 feet and 3 feet and say you've separated those bodies, how far apart is that?
6. It's more.
Feet. And how far apart have we been told to stay from each other?
Oh my holy Jesus. What the fudge? I'm telling you right now, there's more to that shit. There's holy wow. Holy. Yes.
I got more.
Let me tell you, I never did the 6 feet. I never did the 6 feet, but I do say you're only responsible for the 3 feet around you. So basically, like, stop getting up in other people's emotional stuff. But all right. So yes, I hear you. And I do walking meditations where I the chakra 8, like the quantum field, like you can feel it spreading out into the neighborhood, into the trees or whatever. I'm not going to reveal too much because people are going to be like, she's crazy, but I am. And thank God I am, because I don't want to be normal.
Wow. That is what people need to be. I'm on your train. That is what people need to be learning and understanding. I'll tell you something weird, but it shows you how things are connected. So yesterday, my fiance came home and he's like, oh, look what was on the porch. And it was this jumper cable. It was a
Oh,
solar powered jumper cable. And because a couple weeks ago, his car went off by itself. The battery died and he had to call AAA. So he could have jumped his own car with this little thing. And so I'm walking down the street here. 2 minutes after he showed me that, I went shopping yesterday and I saw the little neighbor lady and she said, oh, she said, um, a couple weeks ago, my car died and I needed to get it jumped. This was not 2 minutes later. And then on my way home from shopping, he came to pick me up. We passed a car getting jumped.
wow.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what is all this about? Why
Yes.
is car jumping talking to me? But if you start looking at signs, you'll start seeing synchronicities, and that means you're exactly where you're supposed to be on your journey when you start getting those synchronicities. And I want to encourage people to start opening their minds to energy. There is such things as energetic healing, like Reiki, which is just putting your hands over someone's body. And a nurse that was Reiki trained used to do that to us. She just loved playing around with everybody. And I felt it. And you can feel it. You could feel that magic. You're right. We have so much magic that's been untapped, unexplored. We're not taught about ourselves, about self-care, about mortgages, about taxes, about
Exactly.
anything in school.
Nothing. Zero.
So when we get out, when we get out in the real world and all these healing things, we don't know what's what. And that's why people in their 20s, I told my daughter, I remember when I was in my 20s, she's 23.
Yeah.
I remember being in my 20s and it was like I was in the spin cycle of the washing machine.
It's really incredible. Yeah.
Because you don't know what's what. Yeah. So,
And you know that all of that stuff that you're describing, that's what I love us getting together and having this conversation, because the majority, the masses basically are, we're not taught. And through not being taught, we become puppets, because then we're following a lot of people who weren't taught. And we're believing that if they're doing it, then it must be okay because we want to belong. And it's one big distortion. And, I just want to say something about the things that you're saying, because I know that there's listeners on here who are, who are Christian, who are faith-based, and all different kinds of perspectives. But what I want to throw out to you guys is that science has caught up with spirituality and with religion, and what is happening is that science is bringing forth an explanation. You can see with quantum physics and neuroscience, all of the things that we're talking about are real. They can measure energy in a room, and the majority of what's happening around us, when I say majority, I wish I knew the statistic right. I think it's like 99.9% of the data that's coming in through our five senses is so slowed down and so distorted that our reality is not the real reality. So, and matter, all the things that are created around here, it's just slowed down energy. And really, our thoughts move faster than the speed of light. So they have like this incredible power to create things. So one of our greatest, I always say, I tell people, Mary, all the time, this, like, I have this thing, with Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz, that, and when Glinda says, you had the power within you all along, dear, whatever it is, and it's, she's desperately trying to find home. And I think that everybody's doing that, but we have the power within us to make these changes and to think our way into our greatness, who we really are, and connect with God in that way. So that's a lot. There's a lot going on here. So what I want to ask Mary, let's say you ran into somebody, let's say 30, who does not really feel super concerned about their health. They're concerned about, starting a family, whatever it is, or maybe they're concerned about, career or maybe their mental health, because people worry about the way they feel. They hate the way they feel, a lot of people. So what would you say to them? How would you convince them the importance of stopping the train from going off the tracks? How would you convince them? Because we don't want to use, we try with people to use scare tactics, like you will die if you don't do this, and that doesn't work. So what would you say to them?
Such a great question, Allison. So what I would say is, imagine your life at 70 and at 60 and at 50. What do you want that to look like? What path are you on now? What train track are you on now? So if that's not the right one, reverse engineer your train to get those results. If you want to be vibrant, if you want to be 70 years old, lifting weights, going to the beach and wearing a bikini, that's going to be a different life than someone 70 years old with a cane on their way to assisted living. Both people are the same age, but they took different train tracks.
Mary, have we not been sold a bill of freaking goods that when women say to me, oh, well, once you hit your 40s, you get that belly fat. I'm like, that is such bullshit. Speak for yourself, girl. So, and to me, we just have all these like mantras. Like when somebody's 70, somehow we're shocked when they look good. We should be shocked when they look bad. Like what the fudge? Mary, like what the hell? Fudge that.
I agree. I have friends that started wearing.
What do you just want to die and be miserable? You want to retiring? Like, what is that? It's just a made up story that everybody's following. I want to break. And if anything happens to us after this podcast, you better say something, because this right here, we're talking about it's like keeping people dumb, keeping people fat, keeping people from not recognizing. And somehow we're not allowed to say, you know what? I don't like that you're having my daughter read that in school about people's heads being sewed on. How about I don't like that? We're not allowed to say what we don't like in school. We're supposed to just follow the masses. Such bullshit. We're supposed to just go to the hospital when all of us know we feel shitty there and we get sicker there. Right? So
I think that what one of the in joining in on this in your rant is,
it is a rant. Yeah. You didn't expect this, did you?
I love it. And it's chewy conversation, and I love a good chewy conversation.
Chewy. I love you. Write that in your book somewhere. Wait, I have to have you do something. I don't want to forget. I want you to do something in your book because I loved it. Because I love breath work, breathing and stuff, but you have the thing where you explain it in here. And I was doing it before we came on, and it's about, the four breath in, and the 7 out, like that. But the way you described it, I'm dying to find, there was words you used, compassionate compliance. I love that. There's something in the breath work. Because my mother was a hippie as well. My mother was like everything was like grown foods and organic and whatever. I thought my mother was crazy, but the thing is, she always talked about, breathing, belly breathing. And belly breathing, I believe, for women also, I just want to say an aside, and then I want you to say it. Belly breathing. I always, when we're sitting in sessions, I always say to people, you're not breathing. You can see they're breathing from here up. And that's all anxiety, right? So I want you to tell them about the belly breathing, the difference between the belly breathing, what that signals, and the upper breathing. Can you do that? And what you do? Maybe you can walk us through like a minute of breathing together. Will you do it?
Sure. Yeah. So when you breathe, as you're saying, most people breathe from up here. And what that is it's sympathetic breathing. It's using your sympathetic nervous system. For example, if someone scares you, you go, that's breathing through your chest. If you look at a little baby walking along the beach, you look at any baby, you're changing their diaper, they're breathing belly breaths. And what do belly breaths do? They take the diaphragm down, let the lungs expand. There's these little grape sacs in the bottom of your lungs called alveoli, and that's where all your gas exchange comes from. And those pop open even more, and you have better oxygen exchange and getting rid of that carbon dioxide out of your system. So when you breathe from your belly, also you're engaging your vagus nerve, and that is what engages the parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest, your chill out mode. So breathing from your belly as much as possible, and if you can consciously try to train yourself to start doing that, is the best. And also breathing through your nose. People are mouth breathers at night when they sleep, which can lead to sleep apnea. Breathing through your nose all the time increases something called nitric oxide, which affects the inner lining of your arteries and helps them to keep expanded so that your it helps keep your blood pressure lower. So right there, you have a little hack on chilling your body out and decreasing your blood pressure. And these are the kind of things that you're not taught at the doctor's office. So let's all together, we can close our eyes.
Yeah. Can I say something before you do it? So what I want to say is, I think as women, very often we've been taught not to belly breathe because we hold our abdomen in because we're not supposed to look that way. But when you see somebody very confident and comfortable in their body, they'll be just throwing their belly out and breathing like that. And I just wanted to tag that on. But yes, so walk us through the breathing, Mary.
And you know what also in tandem with that is when you are walking with your belly out, that's your third chakra. That's the chakra that's like, I am and I'm doing, and this is what I want. So holding that in is actually repressing yourself.
I love this. Yes, I'm going to walk with my belly out. I wish everybody could see me. I'm going to put my belly out everywhere I go.
We'll start a new trend for women.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it in my Women of Excellence group. Also, yes. What was I going to say? It always happens to me. I forgot. Maybe you could, I hope it's not some like nitric oxide thing going on for me.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about the heart chakra. The heart chakra, and for those of you who don't know what chakras are, they're energy centers in the body. And this comes from Eastern medicine. And the heart chakra is the central chakra to your safety and security in your chakras below, and to your intuition here, and spirituality and the quantum field and energy above. So when we have a problem with our heart, that can cause a problem in all the alignment of the energy and the way that our whole system is operating. And when people have heart surgery or for example, a heart attack, that chakra center has been destroyed. And this is why these people, not destroyed, but injured. So in the case of surgery, it's like a controlled trauma. It's like a controlled car accident. You're controlling the surgery and the wounding of this beautiful organ. And so breathing can help us to get that energy flowing again. And it's really simple. So if you want to put your palms on your thighs, palms down for grounding, palms up if you'd like to receive inspiration. And close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And if that's not comfortable, you can lower your eyelids and stare at a spot on the floor. And take a moment to center yourself and to just come into yourself. Let everything go. Let the day go. Be here now. Famous saying. And then notice how you're breathing and where you're breathing from. Notice how you're feeling. Notice what your thoughts are thinking. And if you have a thought, start counting. In breath 1, out breath 2, in breath 3, Out breath 4. And if you get interrupted by your thoughts or someone opening the door to your office, you can start over with 1, all the way until you get to 10. And as you're breathing, inflate your belly as if you had a balloon in there. Nice and slow. Inhale and fill up that balloon. And then after your next inhale, exhale and slowly let everything go. And begin to crack your eyes open and slowly raise your eyelids and take in the room.
That was
And notice
beautiful.
how you feel. Oh, good.
It was beautiful. And I love that we did that at the end. I'm sorry about the interruption. I am in a mental health facility where people look for me for emergencies and crises. And I have trained myself to not be reactive. In that moment, I was like, get out. But yeah, so maybe a little reactive. So Mary, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for sharing this. Yes, heart. So I want to ask you, could you tell people where they could find you, and just even like a brief description about your coaching program? Because I think it's just incredible. I think it's very valuable for people.
Thank you so much, Allison. So you can find me, you can take a master class and learn more about everything and learn some key points at www.thehearthealthaccelerator.com. That will take you to a master class. My program will be starting, I would say around August 7th or so. I'll be going live, and that will be at my website, www.heart2soul, no numbers, Heart2Soul CW, which stands for cardiac wellness.com. And on the Heart Health Accelerator, it's Heart Health Accelerator on Instagram. And I'm building my Heart Health Accelerator program on there. I'm not promoting anything right now because I don't have the program, but I will be sending you an access for yourself personally to take the program if you like.
And what we're going to do is we're going to put that stuff in our session notes so people will be able to see it and maybe speed up its publishing so that you guys will have an opportunity to do that. And Mary, anything you have, you can just send to me and I'll shout out, I'll tell people about it. Okay. Yay, I want to thank you so much. It was such an honor to meet and know you. And I plan on having you on again if you'll come on, because, to just teach more stuff, because we all really need to consider our body and how it is one. We are, body, soul, mind, spirit. So I'm so grateful to have you. And now we're fast friends.
Thank you, Allison. So, me too. I feel that way too.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
All right. So long, people. See you the next time.